Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. It has been a really eventful week for a number of issues that have actually come up. We've had the tragic death of Sunanda Pushkar Tharoor and of course all the events that have been taking the headlines and grabbing the headlines before that particular tragic death. Also, we've had a speech by Rahul Gandhi that many considered was one of his best yet. And is there an image makeover that is coming for Rahul Gandhi and for the Congress party? And then there's been all this drama that has been taking place in Delhi between the Aam Admi Party and the Delhi police, and a midnight raid that many people thought was smacking a bit of vigilantism, and a lot of issues that have arisen around that. So the week that was, and in particular the political aspects of it, is what we're going to look at. And let me start by welcoming all the guests. It's a great pleasure to have with us Kiran Bedi, former IPS officer, of course. She was a member of Team Anna, but has now got her differences with the Aam Admi Party and the way that it is going. Rajiv Desai is the chairman and CEO of Kama Consulting, who's been advising the Congress and on its image makeover. So that's exactly what we're going to be discussing with you at some length. Shayana NC is a BJP spokesperson. Good to have you with us. Adam Plowright, news editor, AFP South Asia. Must be great being posted in India because there's no shortage of news, right? It's always coming in thick and fast. Mayank Gandhi joining us from Mumbai, National Executive Member of the Aam Admi Party. Mayank, thank you so much for being with us. Manishankar Iyer is with us from Chennai. He's also had a really interesting week, and especially on yesterday, you know, with some of the comments that he made and all that happened. Also got a shout out by Rahul Gandhi. So, you know, it was a bit of a mixed day from him, being slammed by the BJP and the media and being praised by Rahul Gandhi. So, Mani, thanks for being with us. Also joining us from Bangalore, Captain Gopinath of the Aam Admi Party. And we have a packed audience out here. I have to say we were doing some snap polling, a lot of them BJP supporters, and you can see some Aam Admi Party caps right there behind me. So, you can guess some of the affiliation of the audience. I want to just first of all kick off with the Aam Admi Party and some of what's been actually happening in Delhi. Let's just start off with that. Mayank Gandhi, let me get you in on this. What actually happened in Delhi for the last 3 or 4 days have got some people wondering whether the Aam Admi Party perhaps needs a slight course correction, because you're representing the Aam Admi, and that's great, but it's not great if that somehow tends to degenerate into mob justice or a mob mentality. And some people feel that what your law minister did in Delhi was edging in that direction. You know, the treatment of those women, there have been a lot of concerns.
See, we are being basically Andolankaris, and we are impatient when there is not justice given to the poor and the needy and the kind of things that are happening in Delhi. And the police acting the way it has. And we are the people who are answerable to the people of Delhi. And when we can't give them justice, there is an impatience, there is an anger. And I think that came through, and there is a lot to learn for us also, as well as from others, that we are going to go after them, but we need to do it in a more moderate and more proper route.
Yes, you've been Andolankaris, but now in a sense, the law minister and others he's a minister in the Delhi government. So what happens then is got broader implications than just being an Andolankari. So to some extent, that standoff that is continuing to seem to be built up between the police and the Aam Admi Party, and some of the excesses in the raid.
Essentially, I think sometimes we need to look at the means, but nobody can doubt our intent. Our intent is to give justice to the poor and the needy as fast as possible.
Okay. Kiran Bedi?
I think it's from Andolankari. Don't they need to come to Sanchalankari? Because Andolan se ab Sanchalan hai. It's no more, it's Andolan which is voted you to power, but now it's voted to power to have Sanchalan, which means governance. And governance means order and not chaos. You are not for every time chaos, but restore order and also enforce order and be part of the order and not be part of the chaos. What's happened?
So if a mob comes in and does the sort of things that happened out here with those women, the way they were treated, was that degenerating from order into chaos in your sense?
It was actually leading a chaos. It was in fact perpetuating disorder, and in fact it was being unlawful yourself. And not only did Bharti take law into his hands, even Rakhi as a minister took. There were 2 incidents and not 1. When you told me what the subject is, I rang up my colleagues and I found out. There were not one, but there were two incidents. Bharti took law into his hands by telling the police, giving police wrong, unlawful orders. He could have registered cases against both the ministers for obstructing them from doing government duty. They have been spared. Rakhi also got a house broken through, actually locked. It was she trespassed into a house against she had an allegation of something in. So two. And whereas Bharti was giving unlawful orders to the PCR van and to other police officers to get into houses at night, search women, and even took them to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences for sample tests, which absolutely all unlawful. All this will come out through the inquiry. Okay. What is it showing is that they are still Andolankaris. They are not turning to Sanchalankaris.
Okay, Mayank?
I think in some ways what she is saying is something that I agree, but let's look at this. You are running a state government, you have been given the power, but the police is not with you. The police, we know all how corrupt and how obstructionist it is. So there is this impatience to get the work done. It is about work done, it is about the poor, it is about the kind of justice that we want to do. So we know how to run we are new to this, running this government, except for the police. The issue is only where the police is obstructing us, where there is this impatience and what you are saying. In the other parts, we are doing a very good job.
Let me get everyone else into this and see where they stand on this. Shaina, they're new to this. They think we are impatient. No one's ever delivered justice. So perhaps there are things that go wrong in the initial stage. They are asking for those same police people whom Kiran was talking about to actually be sacked. I mean, suspended.
Well, the question that comes to my mind is, does this country want to go through this trial and tested era? Does this country want just rebellion? Does this country want just negative agitation? Or does this country and the voters of this country want good governance? I mean, we all realize that there are issues, we need to fight it. But if there is political will coupled with good governance and a strong leadership, trust me, you will lead in the correct direction. Unfortunately, what are comparisons? You have an extremely corrupt UPA government which has done nothing but pay lip service to even the issue of corruption, price rise, women's security, etc.
But he's saying that nobody has really been able to deliver governance.
1 second. Have you given the BJP and Narendra Modi a chance before making this assumption? My only point is that we've seen enough of rebellion mode and banana republic style of, you know, everyone who wears the Aam Admi cap suddenly becomes a vigilante. And you feel that, oh wow, you know, this is the solution. That is not.
Rajiv.
This is the kind of take no prisoners politics that has emerged in India over the past several months or years. And it's very depressing. There are constitutionally mandated approaches to law and order, to governance, to consultations, to policy making, and it's a wonderful document. And this is the most troubling part of it, that on either side, whether it's the guys in the caps or the guys with the trishuls, they don't seem to understand that we have a constitution.
And have you been the best option?
That's not the issue.
60 years of
That's not the
governance
issue.
where you have been total non-performing
Shaina,
asset.
I'm speaking, excuse me. So I'm saying that why not leave aside all these things, this take no prisoners kind of approach. We have a constitution, let's look at it, and there's a solution to all kinds of...
Mayank, so I think the point that's coming out is that your impatience is fine and people get that, but as long as that's not seen as being an excuse to have vigilante mobs who are waving the Aam Admi Party topi, just in the Cultural Revolution they used to wave the red book, or, you know, we've seen mobs in the past, and rule by mob is never a good idea. So impatience should not mean subverting the processes and law and order which has been established by a while. No matter how irritated by that you might be and how upset you may be that it's too slow moving, and we get the frustration with that, but at the same time it shouldn't degenerate into a free-for-all. I think that's the point that's being made.
One is, I buy this point that vigilante is not the way to run a government, and I don't think there is any vigilante. If you look at out of the manifesto, I think many of the manifestos in 1 month has been done where there has been no obstruction. When there is power with the government, they are able to do it. It is only in the issue of police where they are obstructing this injustice that there is an impatience. A BJP which has not given a Ram Mandir for the last 18 years and a Congress which has not given Garibi Hatao for the last 25 years are now impatient and wanting us to deliver in 1 month's time the entire manifesto. So I think there is some kind of a very humorous aspect to this whole thing, that here is a government which is delivering and both the parties coming together and said you are not delivering enough.
law-abiding
Look at your
citizens.
record. And
we
have
haven't
come for
taken law
5
into
years.
our hands.
I think
because of the
Kiran is
condition
making a
of our
point that
lives.
they're upset that it's not about not delivering the promises, but the impatient acts that have been seen.
Absolutely, they are rattled.
I think
They
we're
are
looking
rattled.
at unlawful, impatient acts. And that doesn't need much time. You can do it in a day, you may do it in a year. Impatient acts which are the subject of this, which has been committed by law minister and the women minister, both. One by trespassing, other by becoming vigilante yourself and searching women through vigilantes.
No.
I think that's what we... And this should not be repeated.
No, we are asking that the power for the Delhi police should go to the Delhi government. I think it's a very, very reasonable demand which should be
Actually,
accepted.
given what happened this week, I think that
don't
would be
think
slightly
anyone
worrying
would want
because,
that.
you know, then Mr. Bharti could have done exactly what he wanted. The police would have been answerable to him. Can I just get Captain Gopinath in, who's been patiently listening? Let me get another Aam Admi Party view from a different city. Captain Gopinath, do you think what happened in Delhi crossed the line a bit between being impatient for change to becoming a vigilante mob? Was that line crossed in some way in Delhi? And there were other aspects of it, such as racism and the way women were treated, which I think have got a lot of people really concerned. So do you think a line was crossed somewhere?
Firstly, I'm speaking in my individual capacity. I think it is very obvious that there has been a line crossed. And I think the AAP has realized that. I think the AAP came to power because they listened to people. And I think now if across the country, if a wide cross-section of people are telling that, you know, you need to govern, with patience, step back a little bit, don't be in a hurry. You know, even this, I mentioned about this, though it's a different topic of the FDI, you know, in that hurry in which they rolled it back because it was in the manifesto. And if AAP has national ambitions, and if you start shooting from the hip on various topics of larger issues like defense or FDI or economic policy, then I think you're going to get branded similarly like the other parties of being populistic for vote banks.
Okay.
And when I mentioned that, I think there was also a little bit of impatience within the AAP top brass, not the top brass, some of the people who are a little more loyal than the king, to ask me to shut me up. But I think they should have more patience, more humility, because that's what brought them to power.
But despite
And,
that,
I'm sure.
But
I'm sure
you're
they-
still,
I'm sure they will
but Captain
get it
Gopinath,
right.
you're still a firm Aam Admi Party member, and you think the basic broad philosophy is still correct, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think hats off to these people. I think that, again, you know, you've got zealots there, you know, sycophants there who are surrounding and trying to say that the party manifesto, that is like the Gulag mindset. You know, there's a party manifesto, don't you know, oppose that.
Okay.
I think they should listen, they should be humble. That's what brought them to power.
Can I just get you in now? Are you somewhat bemused by what you're seeing playing out this week in Delhi? And is there, you think, a slight danger of this further degenerating towards chaos or a mob tendency? And also some of the other stuff that we've seen, which smacked of outright racism, frankly, in this case. How do you take what happened?
I don't think I'm surprised. I think what we're probably seeing is these inevitable first missteps of a government that has very little experience. We have to remember, of course, that the Aam Admi was, till very recently, was essentially a single issue political party, and just over a year ago was a very diffuse public movement, essentially. I spent a day with Mr. Kejriwal in December, and he himself was very aware of the fact that, you know, the speed at which he was moving, and this was before he even formed the government, that inevitably there were going to be problems in terms of personalities, in terms of bringing the party together in a cohesive political party. He was aware of that, and I think, you know, what we're seeing now is the inevitable sort of consequence of that. For me, I think what is important is not going forward is their reaction to it, and whether it is what's happened this week is condemned or not in terms of their electability. And I think, and second is then how quickly they adapt while they're in power, because they're going through these changes in the glare of the media. And what's important, I think, for them is how quickly they adapt to the constraints of the system in which they work. And I think that's what we've seen this week, is them coming up against the system. And I think that's where the difference between a political movement and a political party. a government.
Right. Let me just take up from on what you said and throw that back to Mayank. I think one of the things that was just said was about the whole thing happening under the glare of the media. You know, you're right that there are teething problems, and especially when a political movement is trying to become a government, there will be teething problems. It's happened with the BJP, it happened with the Congress party. Anything when it first started, the communists, when they first started to set up a government in West Bengal or in Kerala, there always are teething problems. I think part of what the Aam Admi Party is now experiencing is that those who live by the media can sometimes die by the media. So everything has been happening in the public glare, and that's the reason why, you know, the minute there are missteps, it also gets amplified. Do you think it's time perhaps for the Aam Admi Party to say, look, give us a little time to get ourselves sorted out, get out of the media glare, and sit and just try and get all these governance issues sorted out behind the scenes and then come out? But instead of that, what we are seeing is further media, under the glare of the media, you know, accelerated steps like we are going to do a dharna now in front of the police headquarters, in front of the Home Minister and stuff like that. That can be a strategy that will backfire on you.
We've always believed in party transparency, and with media looking at this, they are amplifying the good things that we are doing, and they are amplifying some of the things that is considered to be not so good. And we are happy with that. I don't think there is anything wrong if the people of this country come to know the way we are functioning, good or bad. So, having said that, I don't think we are doing anything for the media, but if the media covers us and points out good things and bad things, we are okay with that. I mean, it's a trade-off that we have to do both. Okay. And it is for the media to decide to cover us or not to cover us. We will continue doing what we think is right for the people of this country. They are willing to work for the people.
You?
And if there is an authority like the police which is stopping
justice
them from
is one thing. Hang on, getting justice is one thing. But at least there should be a recognition that some of what was done, the way those women were treated, asking them to urinate in the middle of in public, those are not things that the Aam Admi Party should.
It's not with getting justice. Please. No, I condemn that, but it was not done by Aam Admi Party. Let's not mix that.
When you lead a mob, you have to take responsibility for the actions of the mob. If I lead a mob and I say, come and do something, if the mob does something wrong, I have to take responsibility for the actions of the mob.
It is for the police to have stopped them. The police is not under control.
You are the one who was telling the police to step out of the way. How can you say that? You are telling the police, step out of the way and allow us to continue. The policeman tried to stop the mob, and he's now being under attack for trying to stop the mob. You're asking for his suspension for stopping the mob, and then you're saying the policeman should have done his job.
No, you need to look at that clip again. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you are asking us to deliver justice to the poor and not giving us the police which is continuing doing injustice.
That's exactly.
So that needs to change, and we are demanding that. And what's wrong in that?
Okay, let me get Manish Shankar Iyer in.
Having the power.
Okay, I have to get Manish Shankar Iyer in, then Kiran Bedi, I want you to respond to this. Manish Shankar Iyer, your take on what's been happening with the Aam Admi Party and Delhi, and their view that, look, we're a young party, they're going to be teething troubles, you know, get off our back. And what happened was, we're just impatient to deliver change.
I think some of their instincts are absolutely spot on. I think some of their larger objectives are correct. But clearly, over the last few weeks, they have demonstrated that they were not ready, had not made themselves ready to take on the tasks to which they were aspiring. To have a law minister behaving in the way that Mr. Bharti has been doing, or to have a minister of social justice and emancipation who gets after a little child for having accidentally hit a tennis ball onto her car, I don't think this gives any kind of credibility to that party. And the incidents that I've been reading about, because I'm not in Delhi, are shocking. They're really shocking. They are tinged with racism. They're tinged with complete insensitivity to women. It's not the sort of thing that one would expect of either the Aam Admi Party or the somewhat noble souls who've decided to fling themselves from successful professional lives into the risks of politics.
But of course, you are supporting the Aam Admi Party government.
I would therefore plead.
So, you know, let me just say that.
So, in summing up,
you are supporting them, you are backing them, you're giving them outside support.
I'm giving them also a chance, and I want to give them some advice. I want their law minister to understand that there is a constitution, there are laws, and he just has to observe them until he gets around to changing them. And if they wish to change the laws by which Delhi is governed, they can't be sitting around today saying they're demanding it. They have to work with the central government to try and get these things changed and rein in their own supporters who think that Rome can be built in a day.
Okay, fair enough.
Rome can't be built in a day, and even Ghaziabad cannot be built in a day.
All right, sir. Kiran Bedi, I mean, some of the points that are being made about the way the Delhi police function, all that, this was known. This is what Sheila Dikshit frankly has been complaining about for the last 10 to 12 years when she was actually running it. Is some of this the reason why you oppose the decision of the Aam Admi Party to go from being the Anna movement to becoming a political party, because you thought they were not ready? And what Mayank was saying about the Delhi police in particular, that they should have somehow stopped the mob, is that a bit strange considering that the Aam Admi Party is now the one which wants those policemen to be suspended for doing their job?
In a way, they, from the larger movement, they forced this decision to become political on Anna. They compelled him, actually they drove him to the wall to say, we got to make the party, even when Anna said, you are not ready for it, do not do it. Yet they got Anna somehow to be there when they announced this platform. That's history now. I don't want to go into that history, and that's what I told them, that I believe I'm not ready for it. So
okay.
I can't join.
Now the police part.
So the police part. They begin with the media before they go into an incident like that. The police told me that even before police informed, both Bharti and Raki had the media along with them when they went for these incidents of mob creation. This is the tragedy of it. So that means the intention is what? Justice, order, or somehow publicity. I think that's the problem. We need to put a question mark this. Third, if they are young, inexperienced, then they better go to school. Why are they here? That's why I said, and I have been promoting Narendra Modi, no doubt about it. And I have said, when he speaks, all others need to go to school. Our party moved from movement to political party, to membership drive desperately, to ideology which they are still searching, and governance last. When will governance come?
Okay. I want to move to the Rahul Gandhi speech now and shift the focus. We almost, we have to move this on now. Mayank, I'm going to give you and Captain Gopinath, you first on the Aam Admi Party thing before I go to Rahul's speech.
Both Kiran and Manishankar were largely right. In a sense, I disagree with Kiran there in the sense that Kejriwal has demonstrated with courage and tenacity that they can win an election without money, without caste, and without muscle power. I think that is the single biggest contribution to Indian politics. And having said that, I've been saying that from beginning, they should step back a little bit now, focus on Delhi, get Delhi right, and it takes time to get even Delhi right, and not throw the punches all around, not shoot from the hip, not spread themselves thin.
Mayank, let me get your final thoughts on this particular part of it. So, is there time for some rapid introspection? Because what I sometimes get the sense of from the Aam Admi Party is, under attack, perhaps for the first time, it's been a very high, it's been a period of one high after the other, great Anna movement, and then an election campaign, and then that stunning result in Delhi. So it's one high after the other. Faced with criticism for the first time, there's almost a prickliness that's coming, and suddenly a feeling of being victimized, and we're going to fight all of this. Is there time to step back a little bit and have some introspection right now?
We are in a democracy, and a political party will be as successful as the people want them to be. So people are supporting Aam Admi Party in a big way. So this going back to school and all of those are very childish comments. The other point that I wanted to say is, I think the other political parties are reasonably rattled at the popularity and the growth of Aam Admi Party. But I assure you that we are quick learners, and there is this constant process of introspection which we keep on doing. We may not appear to be doing so on the television channel, but there is a great deal of introspection, discussion that takes place. And we'll end up with a very unique and excellent government in Delhi, because unlike the other parties whose politics revolve around Rahul and Modi,
maybe
our
you should
politics
ask him
is
how the
revolving
media
around the
reaches
problems
before
of the
every
people.
incident.
But I mean, as China is saying, how come the media was called for these incidents before they even happened? And then the Aam Admi Party says, why is the media getting this all wrong? Why was he calling the media before these raids?
We are not saying that. If you listen to me some time back, I said the media is a tool of transparency by which things get transmitted to the rest of the country. We are very happy. If we do right, the media should show it. If we do wrong, the media should show it. We have no problem with the media.
Okay, let me dive into the other part, which is the Rahul speech, and does that give a major makeover to the Congress party? A comment about Narendra Modi that got you, well, widely slammed in some quarters. public shout out then by Rahul Gandhi. So describe your day to us.
Although I had hardly expected him to mention me, and he did, and not because of that, I sat there in absolute wonderment as an atheist who doesn't believe in reincarnation. For what I was hearing was the reincarnated voice of Rajiv Gandhi. All the points that he had stressed, all the points that he had stressed from at least 1985 onwards, and which was cut short by his assassination 6 years later, were being remanifested. And I wondered how this osmotic process of transmitting thought from generation to generation had happened, given that Rahul was mostly a schoolboy through the period of his father's prime ministership. And for the last 23 years, he's had no connection with his father.
This kind of allegiance to the first family of the Congress, the country has had enough of this. Please understand, what was the content of yesterday's speech? Other than Bol Vachan, the same points reiterated. Next time I want to see 50% of this audience to be women. Trust me, if he did that, I'd be his voter. 10 years you have done nothing. You have talked about gas cylinders, which anyway was an obvious plan. You have said that now we need to announce so much. You have gone on there and said that, you know, this election is to be fought by all these karyakartas. Please understand that other than this Congress party, which is only playing sycophant to the first family, ask anybody in your audience if they buy this talk. If you are so committed, show political direction, show leadership, and as a youth leader in this country, why aren't you accepting a challenge? You're almost sounding as if you're reconciled to the defeat of Mr. Narendra Modi, where you've reconciled to accept that you are down and out, but you're trying to motivate your karyakarta, which is perfectly all right in a political party. But what I take objection to is this clear sycophancy of a dynasty that wants to try and play the common man.
Okay, Mani.
Vikram, I don't know who this lady is,
My
who
name
for the
is
third
Shaina
time
NC.
in
May
the
I
few minutes
introduce
that I've been in
myself
this
to you? The
program,
whole world
has
knows
kept
you.
saying, trust
I am
me,
entitled to
trust me.
respond.
I don't trust her. I want to know
We
who
don't
she
trust
is.
you either.
She's Shaina NC, BJP
Who trusts
spokesperson.
you?
Who is
is the
she?
question.
Who is this woman who's talking?
Shaina
Is
NC.
Vikram,
this
please
your
tell me
typical
who is this
style,
I'm
lady?
telling
Mr.
you,
Mani
she's
Shankar
Shaina
Iyer,
NC, she's
to
the BJP
disrespect
spokesperson.
any woman?
Vikram,
Mani, I've already said she's Shaina NC. Now, can I just ask, talking about disrespect, do you think some of your comments yesterday about Narendra Modi were A, slightly incorrect, and B, perhaps...
No, can you please tell me what is the identity of the lady that
I've
was
told
speaking?
you, Shaina.
What's your problem in giving me her identity?
Mani, I've told you repeatedly, her name is Shaina NC. She's the
happen to be
BJP
this-
spokesperson. Shaina NC, BJP spokesperson.
Oh, that's why she talks this rubbish. That's why she talks this rubbish.
Mani
Okay,
Shankar Iyer,
I
I
now
will not
understand who it
stoop
is.
you like
I
you
thought it was
to
a
comment
misleading
on your
AAP
comments.
person or some civil society. But if it's a BJP spokesman, then I understand why she keeps saying trust me when this country has refused to trust them
We
for the
don't
last
trust
50
you
years.
either, and 2014 is going to be
They're
a
a load
befitting
of
reply.
they're a load of rubbish, and I don't have to answer her. Please carry on with
You
your
need to-
second
you
question.
need to get some
Can I
difference.
try and... Okay, one second.
And
Can
please
I...
ask her to not interrupt me.
Okay, can I...
There's an
It's
etiquette
not
on a
even
television
worth
channel.
responding to you.
Okay, may I try and get some...
Why does she
etiquette
go on jabbering?
in? Okay, may I try and get some
Please
etiquette in
restore
here?
order here.
Sir, one second. Can I get some etiquette in here? Now, I'm just asking, the question I was asking actually before all of this started is that your comment yesterday about Narendra Modi, he can come and sell tea out here if he wants to. Is that A, slightly not in keeping with etiquette, and B, perhaps also not necessarily the right message the Congress wants to send out, because he is almost certainly going to be making, I don't think he's concerned or scared about his humble origin, and he's going to be setting that up against a different sort of origin that others have. So, I mean, do you regret that statement in any way?
Not in the least. What I regret is that television channels have become the medium of lying by cutting out most of what one says, leaving a word or two which will give them breaking news. You've done it. Congratulations.